Today, I'm going to be sharing my experience using the new Google Pixel 10 Pro for the past weeks, and I can tell you that for me, the Pixel 10 Pro really is a love-hate phone. There's a lot I really like, but also some things that I feel keep this phone from being truly great. This video will cover everything you need to know. So the Pixel 10 Pro starts at $999 or £999 and comes with 128 gigabytes. Now for that price, I do feel that 256 gigabytes would have been more reasonable. I purchased my Pixel 10 Pro in Moonstone, which is in my opinion my favorite color. I think it looks really classy and understated, and as always, I will leave the purchase links down in the description. Google has come a long way with their hardware. In the hand, I would say the Pixel 10 Pro feels like a really well-built phone and also looks the part of a premium smartphone. In fact, I would say the build quality is on par with that of the 16 Pro or the Galaxy S25 series. The polished aluminum frame looks sharp, and I like how it complements the matte glass on the back, which is where we find the familiar camera visor design, which is great because you get no table wobble. The buttons too have a nice and tactile and solid feel. One of the big new hardware features of the Pixel 10 Pro is that we now get Pixel Snap, and this is essentially Google's version of MagSafe. This makes your Pixel 10 Pro instantly compatible with a world of accessories. For example, the 10 Pro will instantly snap to a wireless charger, so no need to surgically align it when placing your phone. Plus, you can also attach products like wallets and stands, such as this really handy Snap tripod stand from Moft, which was originally made for iPhone. And that is because, yes, all MagSafe accessories will now work perfectly on your Pixel 10 Pro, and 10 for that matter. Google even makes some of their own first-party accessories too. Having Pixel Snap is just such a huge quality of life improvement. I always miss this feature when I'm switching away, say for my iPhone, and I'm really glad to keep this functionality on my Pixel 10 Pro. The inclusion of Pixel Snap also makes switching from iPhone to a Pixel phone a little bit easier. Let me know in the comments, have you ever had a Pixel phone before? If so, I'd love to hear your experience and feedback in the comments, and if you are enjoying this video so far, a like and a sub to the channel would be amazing. According to Google, the Pixel 10 Pro now packs the brightest display on any smartphone, going up to 3300 nits of brightness, and this is a big jump compared to both the S25 and the 16 Pro. In the real world, I found this to make a noticeable difference when viewing the Pixel 10 Pro out in the sun, for example, if I'm following directions on Google Maps, and this here is great to see, quite literally. The Pixel 10 Pro also has a smooth 120Hz variable refresh rate display, but frustratingly, out of the box, it will be set to 60Hz, so you do have to go into the settings and manually change this to unlock this feature. And I highly recommend you do this, as this makes your phone feel more fluid and actually faster, especially in gaming, but also in day-to-day tasks. By the way, this is one of the many tips and tricks that I show you in my Pixel 10 Pro First Things to Do video, in which I help you unlock the Pixel's full potential. So I'll leave that video linked at the end of this video, as well as down in the description. If you're sensitive to OLED screen flicker, the Pixel 10 Pro now doubles the PWM frequency from 240Hz up to 480Hz, just like on the S25 and 16 Pro. Now, side by side, looking at the Pixel 10 and putting it next to its competitors, I do think that the display bezels could be a little bit thinner. But on the bright side, compared to previous Pixel phones, on the 10 Pro, I noticed much less off-axis color shift, in which the colors of your display change if you view at it from an angle. Check out how it compares to the S25. The punch hole camera is much smaller than on the 16 Pro and supports Class 3 face unlock. While still not as secure as iPhone, it is still a big improvement and much better compared to most Android phones. The 10 Pro also has an excellent secure ultrasonic underscreen fingerprint reader. The speakers get a big upgrade compared to last year's 9 Pro, now with more bass and no longer distort and listening at higher volumes. And then because this is a Pixel phone with the 10 Pro, you get really neat Google Pixel specific features, which I'll touch on throughout this video. But one of them is a handy screensaver, a bit like Apple's standby mode, to see your time and weather at a glance, say while your phone is charging at your desk. Okay, let's talk about the camera. Long story short, the hardware is the same as last year, but when combined with its software image processing, the camera is still very good, even today. In my experience using this camera, I found the 10 Pro to be a camera that I could really trust to capture the moment, as it never gives a really bad result. The 50 megapixel main sensor is strong with good sharpness and dynamic range, and I continue to like the pixel color profile, which is a little bit more true to life than the vibrant image of Galaxy phones and a bit more contrasty than the more flat and usually brighter image from the iPhone. Night sight remains amongst the best low-light modes you'll ever find, showing stars in the city of London. Not an easy thing to do. The ultra-wide camera is good, but also not great. It can be a bit soft around the edges and shows more chromatic aberration when compared to the 16 Pro. The 5x telephoto camera is solid, providing good detail and is comparable to that of the iPhone. The selfie camera is great, albeit a bit over-sharpened at times. Now, let's talk about Google's new 100x ProRes zoom feature. In practice, I found this to be hit and miss. For example, with buildings or signs, it can be truly fantastic, but with people, it makes little to no difference. Even with my dog, the results can sometimes be comically AI generated. I do like how when using this feature, you get both the before and after versions to compare and choose which one you want to keep. Google say the Pixel 10 has the best video on any smartphone, and I'm not sure I agree. Comparing the results, to me, the iPhone 16 Pro is still king. I've taken many sample videos, and each time I do still choose the iPhone. Plus, the iPhone has better mics too, but the Pixel 10 Pro is not far off and is closer than most other Android phones. Overall, while I would have loved to see hardware improvements, even today, the camera experience on the Pixel 10 Pro is solid. Okay, so you know how at the start of this video, I said that the Pixel 10 Pro has been kind of a love-hate experience? Well, this is the part that is not the love part. I'm talking about performance. The Pixel 10 Pro ships with the Tensor G5 chip, designed by Google and made by TSMC. Now, Google say this chip is 34% faster compared to last year's G4 chip, which is good, but still, even today, this G5 chip is still far behind that of the iPhone 16 and the $200 more affordable Galaxy S25. How far behind? Well, let's take a look at the data here in Geekbench 6. As you can see, in CPU performance, the Pixel 10 Pro is around 30 to 40% less powerful compared to its competition, and in GPU performance, numbers show 5 to 10x less performance, a huge difference. Now, to be clear, specs on paper aren't everything, but headroom in performance does matter. Why? Longevity. Google promised up to 7 years of software updates for the Pixel 10 Pro, which is great. But for the 10 Pro to run these new features and updates well 3, 4, 5+ years from now, you need performance headroom. And when compared to the competition, the Pixel 10 Pro simply has much less of that compared to the iPhone as well as Galaxy phones. And this does worry me about the long-term performance of the Pixel 10 Pro. To be fair, today the Pixel 10 Pro runs well. With normal day-to-day use, there is little to no lag and things feel generally snappy. But even today in gaming and when exporting videos, I already feel the difference in performance when compared to the competition. For example, creating a new Minecraft world took twice as long on the 10 Pro compared to the S25, and the 10 Pro could not support the more graphically intense, vibrant visuals mode. At the end of the day, when it comes to performance, the Pixel 10 Pro just doesn't compete with the similarly priced flagships from Apple as well as Samsung, and this I think is an important compromise that you should know about before buying. And this is also what for me has kept this $1,000 smartphone from being truly great. Now back to the positives. Software, one of my favorite features. On Pixel phones, you get pure Android 16, so no launchers, giving you a much more clean and less bloated experience compared to many other Android phones. Looking at you, Samsung. There's no multiple app stores or browsers, and the phone itself just feels more organized. Plus, on the 10 Pro, you get many neat, awesome Google Pixel features and tricks. I like how much customization there is in your lock screen, home screen, and app icons, all to really make this phone your own. Call screening is a great feature to drastically reduce the number of spam calls that you get by literally stopping them before your phone even rings. Now playing is a handy feature to see what music is playing around you and then keeps the songs in a neat list for you to look at later, say after a night out. Plus, you even get a free Google VPN built in for online privacy. I could go on, but these things really add up, and all of this is to say that I really like the software experience on the Pixel 10 Pro and the rest of the Pixel line. The Pixel 10 Pro also comes with a bunch of AI features. My favorite is Gemini. Of course, not unique to Pixel phones, but Gemini is super convenient to talk to for quick answers, show your camera to point at and learn more about an object, or even share your screen with. Within the camera app, there's also a new AI photo coach, which is meant to help you take better photos. But in practice, I found this to be not so intuitive with too many steps to realistically use. What is cooler is a new help to edit feature, which is supposed to let you use voice commands to edit photos, like remove this coffee cup or make the sky more blue. But sadly, I don't have this feature on my Pixel 10 Pro, which I purchased in London, so we may not get this feature in the UK or in Europe. Then there's Magic Q, which is meant to bring up details throughout your operating system when they are needed for easy access, like flight details or addresses, contact numbers, but in my experience, I haven't found this to work very well today. I think this feature still needs more work, but I am optimistic for the future. But what about battery life? Well, the Pixel 10 Pro gets a slightly larger battery, now 4870 mAh. In my use case, the battery life on the 10 Pro has been good, getting me around 7 to 8 hours of screen on time and ending with about 20% remaining, which is comparable to the iPhone 16 and the S25. The Pixel 10 Pro can charge wirelessly with Qi 2 at up to 15 watts and wired at up to 30 watts. Both are average, but still decent speeds. So this leaves us with the question of should you buy the Google Pixel 10 Pro? Well, the Pixel 10 Pro brings many welcome small refinements to an already solid phone, making it even better. With improvements to the design, display, camera, and software features, but with its less powerful processor, my concerns about long-term performance do remain. It feels to me like Google is trying really hard to appeal to iPhone users in effort for them to switch over to the Pixel line, and to give them credit, I think they've done a pretty good job. If you are on iPhone and are looking to switch over to Android, a Pixel phone will undoubtedly be the most seamless switch. And there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the Pixel 10 Pro. Let me know if you have any questions at all. And as always, I'll leave the purchase links down in the description. And if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you check out my Pixel 10 Pro First Things to Do video, which covers all the tips and tricks to unlock this phone's full potential. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.